In this holy season of Advent, we listen again for the promises of God. Promises that were spoken long before shepherds heard angels, long before the manger held the Christ child, but a promise that points to each of those moments. Today, in Isaiah, we're given one of the most breathtaking visions, I think, in all of Scripture. A world that is finally at peace. A world where God's presence is not an abstract idea, but a radiant light that nations can stream towards. A world where swords are just pounded into plowshares, where spears are turned into pruning hooks. A world where people stop training for war because they've learned the ways of God. I think it's tempting to hear Isaiah's words and imagine them as spiritual poetry. They're beautiful, but they're not attainable. Yet Isaiah insists this is not fantasy. This is the future that God is actively shaping every day. It's the future that all of us are moving towards. It's the future that the church brings to earth as it is in heaven. It is peace in the promise that God has made. And I think this is exactly why we read this passage during Advent, because the world that God envisions is the world God comes to create through Jesus Christ. Verse 2 begins by saying, "In days to come, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established as the highest of the mountains, and shall be raised above the hills. All the nations shall stream to it." There's hope in this verse. Hope that looks at the present world as it is. And it sees and notices the fractures and the violence, but it still believes that God is not done yet. We're still moving somewhere. I mean, think of the world that Isaiah knew. We talked at length about this last week. It is war-torn, unstable, threatened on every side. People anxious about safety, leadership, about their very future and lives. I mean, in other words, it feels a lot like today in parts of the world. And into that world, Isaiah declares, "Nations shall come to the mountain of the Lord, and God shall teach all of them God's ways." The healing of the world does not begin with weapons. It doesn't begin with walls. It doesn't begin with wielding power. It begins with God's instruction, God's wisdom, God's heart, God's way of peace. Advent invites us to remember that we do not invent peace. We receive it. We do not engineer salvation. We witness it. We do not light the world on our own. God shines light into the darkness. We reflect it. And so the Advent story leads us straight into Christmas. I mean, it's the magical story of Jesus' birth. I mean, this child, Jesus arrives with no armies, no political strategy, no economic leverage, no country supporting him. God's plan for peace begins with the vulnerable cry of a newborn, because God's not interested in controlling the world. God's interested in reconciling it. Jesus will grow up and teach the same messages that we read from Isaiah. Blessed are the peacemakers. Love your enemies. Do not return violence for violence. Forgive 70 times 7. The baby wrapped in swaddling clothes is the same one will later stretch out his arms on the cross, refusing to meet hate with hate, absorbing the world's violence so he can break the world free of that violence forever. Christmas is not a cute sentiment. It's God's invasion of peace into the world. It is heaven bending low to heal the earth. But Isaiah's vision here doesn't stop at what God will do. It points to God's good future, absolutely. But it also invites us, humanity, to participate in that vision. And I think this is key. Honestly, it is a crucial element to my own personal theology, the way that I understand how God interacts with humans and the world. It's the why we practice church together, because we are meant to partner with God now. I deeply believe this. We are to partner with God now. We don't wait for the future to come to us. We help bring it to earth as it is in heaven. Our faith points to a future, but we help actively build it now. And Isaiah says this in verse 4. He shall judge between the nations. He shall arbitrate for many peoples. They shall beat their swords into plowshares. That's not future oriented. That's now. And their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Those phrases, they shall beat their swords into plowshares. They shall not learn war anymore. I mean, God is providing the vision for them now. God provides the peace now. God provides us the Messiah now. And God asks us to pick up the plow now. We are not passive recipients of peace. We are peace practitioners. We can participate in this kind of world peace. Now, we can't all affect a macro level, but every one of us can bring peace, invade peace into the world at a micro level, like removing violence from our language, refusing to gossip or tear people down, resisting the quick satisfaction of bitterness, choosing compassion in divided times, asking how we can serve rather how we can win. The world changes, not through global treaties and sweeping reforms, or not just through those, but also through the small daily choices of people committing their lives to the way of Christ. The small daily choices are not small, but they are daily. We must choose to commit to Christ's ways every day, and we are asked to partner with that kind of peace now. In this sense, every Advent is like a workshop, God placing the tools of peace in our hands to keep doing the work together. Now, Isaiah ends this prophecy with an invitation in verse 5. O house of Jacob, come, let us walk in the light of the Lord. I love this verse. I mean, notice the verb, the strong verb here, to walk. Peace isn't instant. You have to go and travel towards it. Hope isn't microwaved. Reconciliation isn't snapped into existence. We walk towards peace, step after step, choice after choice, day after day. And when we do, we begin to walk in the light of the Lord, letting the radiance of God's dream illuminate our path. I mean, this means trusting that the same God who came once in Bethlehem still comes to us today. Every time we gather in worship, every time we read Scripture, every time we sit corporately together in silence or communion, in the faces of those who need us, in the tears of those who suffer, in the lives of those we are called to love and to help show the value of peace. Advent is not just a countdown to Christmas. It is a wake-up call to be about kingdom work now. Help bring peace to people now. I mean, Emmanuel, God is with us now. Not in the future, now. We partner with that God and create peace now. God asks us to pick up the plow now. Isaiah imagines a world where weapons become tools of cultivation. Christmas reveals the one who makes that world possible. And you and I, by the grace of God, are invited to live out that future right now.